Welcome aboard, I'm JasonOfArgo, and Stellaris 2.0 has arrived, bringing with it the apocalypse. All the vestiges of the former game have been wiped away. As you can see up here, one of the new ship types, the Colossi, is just incinerated a hapless planet below, which you can now do. You can build weapons of doomsday and turn them against your enemies. But in order to counter these new threats, new defenses have sprung up. Now there is only hyperlanes, as well as fortresses. You can now build marginal lines in space. I'm going to show you guys all of these things as I start a new game, a new campaign of Stellaris. And I would just like to thank the developers. Kudos to them for recognizing that certain things in the original game were not really working out and going along with a brand new, well, not necessarily brand new, but redesigning, retooling their idea rather than simply doubling down on what wasn't working. So let's begin a new game. I still have the good old Holy Sanjal Concordat, but we're not going to be playing with them, at least for this playthrough. And I won't be using Facecam because most of these long-form strategy games have me just sitting there at the screen staring at it like this. So, you know, that would be slightly less interesting if I just had a giant face taking up one corner of the screen unnecessarily. So what we are going to do, however, is create a bunch of space Vikings. Now, I have not created these space Vikings before, but these guys seem to fit the bill. Yes, yes. They are large with their giant noses matching the size of their giant egos. Although maybe kitty cats. Yes! Yes, kitty cats. They raid, they despoil, they covet, just like cats in real life. Whatever is not theirs, they want to make it theirs. And what shall we call these violent barbarians? They are the Kithsha, and they are here to take everything that is yours and make it theirs. Plural, I believe Kith works out well enough. Kithid for adjectives. Kind of reminds me of Homeworld. What naming system shall they use? I imagine since we're making a bunch of space Vikings, glory and honor and such things are very important to them, and as such, their family names also are. So, I would like something... Oh, but these... Murgad Kurpadam, Gorleaf Kurpadam, Lifris had Tond. That has kind of a purring, cattish sentimentality to it, doesn't it? So, I believe this will do fine. Now, traits. Traits are very important. They help define what you will be good at and what you will be bad at. As you can see here, we have trait points and trait picks. We can pick up to 5 traits, but we add and take away a certain amount of points for each one. Now, since we are going to play as the barbaric despoiler government ethic, which is, well, I'll get to that in a second once we get through the traits. What we will have is, of course, they are quarrelsome. They are often socially combative. Of course, they are strong in order to assert their dominance over others. They are wasteful with no sense of frugality, these Kithsha. Of course, what need have they for conservation when they can just go and grab something from someone else? Now, we'd have enough points here to give us a positive trait that is worth 2. Industrious, thrifty, or adaptive. That might make the most sense. We're not going to make many friends. No, we definitely will not. And it would make sense if we managed to take a lot of worlds for our own. Quick learners would probably be useful. Communal would also be helpful with +5 happiness. As pop happiness increases on a planet, that means that your people will become more efficient, they'll become more productive. But +5 is not a humongous bonus. There's other ways to do that better. I like the idea of them being talented. They would obviously have to be quite self-sufficient in order to make it out there in the void of space. But quick learners also. Which one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. This makes our leaders level up quicker, but talented gives them more levels to have. Talented synchronizes well with enduring, but we've already taken adaptive. And I do like the idea of +10 habitability, which give us kind of a jump start on colonizing every single world for the glory of the Shah. Let me see. Charismatic. Wouldn't that be funny? Unfortunately, since we're going to pick the barbaric despoiler trait, or ethic, that wouldn't really apply. Friendliness need not apply. Of course, we only trust in the enigma of steel. Not men, not women, nor beasts, only the sword can these Kithsha trust. Now, our planet class will also be very important. I like the idea of a tundra, given the cat-like nature. Thick fur would help us, of course, survive in a cold climate, but it would also make sense for savannas and arids, or even desert worlds. Perhaps desert worlds. Now, planet classes have also been changed around quite a bit. Different bonuses and resources will tend to appear more on different classes of planet. I believe wet worlds will have more society, dry worlds have more physics, frozen has more engineering. That's the research resources. And I also believe that certain worlds will also have more food or less food or anything like that. I do like the idea of this being a tundra type people. Because, you know, Vikings, they come from a cold, harsh place. Hard lands breed hard people, as they say. But what shall we name this seat of our glorious new reaving empire? I'm going to spin it as the Kithsha unified their people for the first time under one mighty Shah. All Kith under a single Shah. They named their new world... Well, not new world. They named their newly united world Yonkai, which in their language means the hunting grounds. And of course, the hunter's eye watched them from above. Cold, indifferent, waiting to see who had the strength to take what they could from others. Their god is not entirely indifferent, but he is demanding. And he did not give easily. He only gave, as Crom did in Conan the Barbarian, the strength to take from the weak. And of course, they shall probably be mammalian. Mammalian. These guys are 100% mammal, as they say. Dictatorial, imperial, or perhaps oligarchic. Of course, obviously they're going to be militarist, perhaps fanatic militarist. Can use the no retreat war doctrine. War doctrines are another brand new feature. No retreat obviously means that you can't retreat. You have to stay there, and you have to fight to the flippin' death. Now then, the fun part. Where is barbaric despoilers? What must we be? We must have militarist ethic, authoritarian, or xenophobe. I see. They're not necessarily xenophobic, though they do look down on other races. Of course, we could just do both. I mean, why not? Unless we would like to go authoritarian and fanatic militarist, which increases fire rate and army damage. Armies also work much different. You can't build defense armies anymore. They are spawned directly from buildings, which means they could probably be vulnerable. And having that extra damage boost in guarding our taken worlds could in fact be very useful. But authoritarian could also be a thing. The Vikings, of course, were slave takers. They did have slaves. Xenophobe, also very useful, due to the fact that star bases and claim influence costs are down. Star bases and claim influence, that's also something that I will explain to you guys once we actually get into the game itself. But for now, just know that that's very useful. So spiritualists could also work. They could believe they are divinely pointed by the hunter's eye. Yes, that actually works quite well. Spiritualist, militarist, authoritarians. Not really fanatic in any one area. Which, might hurt me in the long run, honestly. Because fanatic, I believe fanatic ethics get a special edict. Oh well, we can make up for that. And now, the fun part. We are barbaric despoilers, the highlight of this entire series. This society holds few things sacred. To fight is to live, and the strongest may seize whatever they covet. We cannot form migration treaties, which means we cannot send our people to other empires and they cannot send people to our empire. We cannot join federations, which may hurt us in the long run. We'll have to be almost entirely self-sufficient. But we can, obviously, take over and force others to obey us, which is just as good, if you ask me. We have the despoilation, casus belli on all neighboring empires, and we unlock the raiding bombardment stance, which allows us to abduct pops and resettle them to our own worlds. The civic cannot be added or removed after the start of the game. It's much like the other ones, such as where is it? Fanatic purifiers. You must be a fanatic purifier for the rest of the game. So this will be quite a challenge to. We are limiting ourselves after a fashion, but we also are not, because we still have one civic pick left. I suppose it only makes sense that we also pick warrior culture. This will be one of my very first games where I am almost entirely oriented on annihilating those around me, stealing their pops and abducting them as slaves, but it's sure to be quite fun. I do also like the idea that they are imperial, which makes me lean honestly towards Philosopher King as well. Obviously, these creatures would put their faith only in the strongest to rule them, the best. For it is not enough to simply rule. The ship of state must be guided by a king that wields enough wisdom and knowledge to steer it true. Is that not right? I suppose we could add that later on. Yes, for we have only just begun to unite ourselves and the rest of the soon-to-be great empire. Now then, new advisor voices are also part of the deal.
It is a good day to die.
It is it not, Miss Militarist Advisor? That's going to be quite amusing hearing her ham it up for the entirety of the game. You know what I just realized? I seem to have accidentally made the Kilrathi from Wing Commander, who themselves were very violent, military-oriented cat-like race. Oh well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. After quite a lot of deliberation, I believe this symbol will do for the Kith Shah. The many spokes, the many claws of the Kith Shah, united around a single focal point, the hunter's eye of their god, as he watches down upon them, giving them strength to destroy, to build, to do all things by the strength of their own arms. Now, colors are also very important. Obviously, we're going to be red, because we are angry, and also red. We shall remain yellow and red because those are pretty awesome colors. Now, of course, the ship appearance, I don't have the new humanoid pack, which is $7.99 for new ship types. So I think the best one would be the avian ships, actually, because I like the way they sort of reach forward with the claws. They probably do revere killer birds, giant terror birds from their ancient history, and they would model their ships after them because, of course, they would be the apex predators, at least back in their time millions of years ago, before evolution chose the Kith as the rulers of the galaxy. What shall our first ruler be? Warlord? I suppose the only word you could use is Khan to describe or perhaps Shah. Shah works, but I'm already using that for the Holy Sanjal Concordat, my space foxes, so. Wait a minute. There is, in fact, another Khan in this game. He will be a great Khan. He is a mid-game crisis. Oh well, we'll just have to kill him and show him that there's only one Khan to rule these stars. Yes, I like that. Although I do like the idea of Kun being the air title, since I know it's not actually like a diminutive of anything. It's a made-up word I just made up, but it's Kun, the diminutive form of Khan. That makes sense, if you ask me. I like that. I like that with the symbol in the back there. The clothes, of course, would be quite ornate. Barbaric, despoiling warrior culture ruled by an imperial bandit kingdom, organized like a massive crime syndicate. Excuse me, we are honorable warriors, and I will not have anyone tell us otherwise. With a strong prey on the weak, and any neighboring states are seen as little more than raiding targets. Well, that's true. If they are strong, then we will not attack them. It's simply how we do things around here. Now, we do have quite a few new game details. We can change the tech tradition cost over here. Means it costs a lot more. To research tech, we're going to keep that the same. We're going to keep that the same. And I want a large galaxy with 2 spiral arms. Large is good. 12 empires, that sounds pretty good. Fallen empires will keep 2. I don't like having advanced AI because, you know, that's just, I don't like it. I don't like the AI having any more bonuses over me than it already does. Marauder empires now. Marauder empires are spaceborne civilizations that spend most of the time fighting among themselves and raiding their neighbors. Let's have 3 of those. Yes, yes. This is going to be a very chaotic, hectic galaxy. It's going to be great. Primitive civilizations now. Well, okay. We're going to go ahead and lower that to 11 since we've added a Marauder empire. That's how many AI empires we'll be having. Habitable worlds. We'll keep that the same. Primitive civilizations. It will be fun to have more primitives to conquer and destroy. So we're going to just bump that up just a wee bit. Crisis strength. We'll keep that the same. Mid-game start year 2300. Endgame start year 2400. Yeah, that sounds about right. If it takes us 100 years to clean up the mid-game crises, such as the hordes and the machine uprisings, then we probably don't deserve to make it to the end game, quite honestly. Everything else seems quite nice. No advanced neighbors, please. I don't like that. Hyperlane density. Now, I do have more abandoned gateways and wormhole pairs than you normally would see, because those just sound awesome to me. I want those. I want to see a lot more of them. Although not too many. Gateways and wormholes, they basically are they take the place of the old warp and wormhole travel methods. Back here, I believe there was a oh yeah, well, there is no FTL anymore. We're done with that. All we have is hyperlanes, which enables you to make choke points and whatnot. I'm spending a lot of time talking about this, so we're gonna go ahead and, well, let's bump that up to 1.5. This is an old galaxy. It collapsed into a lot of feuding Marauder empires, with all of the other AI, with all of the other empires as well as mine, all out on their own. But there is still a large system of abandoned gateways, which kind of act like wormholes, except wormholes need to be stabilized first. And gateways, I believe, can link up with each other like mass relays after a fashion. And I like the idea of a lot of those being there. It might also help us, with our marauding and despoiling. So let's actually start the game. In the eons since the first primitive Kithshaw communities took shape on the windy plains of Yonkai, our civilization has spread and prospered. It is the ancient right of the strong to dominate the weak, and our society was built around this premise. If you cannot protect what is yours, then it belongs to whomever can take it. In this way, the strongest and most clever of us rose to power while the rest were forced in line. Now, after the discovery of the Hyperlane network, the finest minds of the Kithshaw Confederacy have finished development of the first hyperdrives. The stars themselves are finally within our grasp, and perhaps still more. Okay, so here's Hunter's Eye. We start with a Class A white or bluish white star, which is beautiful. Look at that. It's amazing, isn't it? I love the look of these things, and I'm very glad that we have them. And it fits with the cold nature of our tundra world, Yonkai, where, look, the great Hunter's Eye, cold, indifferent, and ever watchful, stared down upon the competing tribes, seeing who among us would rise to the challenge of taking over the entire galaxy. As you can see, we begin with that already mining energy credits around our sun. We already have a research station above this toxic world. They're giving us society research. And here is the new map. I mean, it's not super new, but yeah. Hyperlanes are in. Everything else is out. You cannot go into the fog of war without a manned science ship, which we fortunately happen to have one lying around. So let's go ahead. Tell them to start exploring all of these areas. and go ahead and explore that, and around there, and then around there. Let's go ahead, first of all, survey in there. Actually, well, just go ahead and start. We'll start surveying the border worlds first, the ones immediately next to ours. Oh, which means that that would actually be one of them. Now, choke points are going to become very, very, very important. So I'm kind of probably going to want to dominate this little area right here. Set up choke points here, 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 and here. And that will be my first little circle of safety. And here in the Najagas Vale. Now, nebula are really cool. They block outside sensors from seeing into it, meaning that nobody knows what you got until you're about to hit them with it. You'll be able to sucker punch anything and everything that gets close. And let's go ahead and take a look at our world. Upon the surface, we have, what do we have? Well, we have some people already in slavery, which is fine. They are weak. They deserve to be there. They are working the farms. And due to our authoritarian government ethic, they give us +5 to resources, as well as +10% from being chattel slaves. But that will change. Once we find aliens to enslave, our people will cast off their own shackles, because we will finally have found creatures weaker than us. I mean, big surprise there. Now, what can we build? Traditions, that's what it is. So we have these skill trees. Every player in Stellaris will know what these are, but these are basically little bonuses that help you to diversify and enhance your empire. We'll probably go with expansion first. And harmony next. Domination, expansion, domination, and harmony. We're going to rush those. Well, actually, supremacy might work out better for us. Yes, expansion, supremacy, and harmony. With that in mind, let's go ahead and build us a temple here. And a mining network here. And allow our science ship to go to work. Where's our science ship? Where'd he go? Ah. There he is. Like a mighty clawed paw. Streaking out into space. What am I doing? I need to start research before anything else. Now, armor definitely works differently. It's its own health bar. It doesn't just reduce damage. You have to basically destroy the armor before you can actually get to the ship. So, that sounds useful. We're going to do that. Growth speed +10%, or biolab, or an off-world trading company, which increases trading hubs. Not entirely sure what those do. I am interested in seeing what they do, though. Looks like they give you more energy. Does that... I believe that increases the monthly gain of energy. Can I just say this music is really good. The Apocalypse DLC has added new music and is great. But for now, I think what would be most useful is going for the biolab and then going for the administrative AI. I always like to rush power plant 2. That could also be very useful. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, if I've made any wrong decisions, don't get angry at me. It's been a long time since I played this. Here we have the Hunter's Eye Station. This is the Starbase, from which we can build military ships through its own shipyard, which now costs 145 minerals to keep people from Zerg rushing right off the bat. And we can also develop it into a mighty fortress, which will be able to obliterate entire fleets, if in fact we get to that point, by building defensive platforms. We can't afford to build any defensive platforms now. I think we can look into those here. Yes. Boom, right there. Wow. That thing looks intimidating, especially with all the angry red going on. Kun Gorlif av Gut is the new heir to our empire and will take the throne when our current ruler dies. Excellent. Excellent, Gorlif. Alright then. Alright then. I always thought these looked more like whales than birds. Has anybody else been struck by that? Yeah, I've been struck by that. So we have some building projects going on. And we have an idle construction ship, which we're we probably used to start building more mining stations, but any mining stations around here to actually build? Well, I can't afford anything. At least not yet. I'm very tempted to build. Let's go ahead and bump this up to fast. And then I'll go ahead and give myself a brand new energy credit mining station above the gas planet of Havana. So then, this is the beginning of our glorious empire. So as you can see, the fog of war has been lifted now that the science ship has gone into a system. And only then can we actually send in corvettes after it. So we must explore before we can expand. They are not one and the same anymore, which is quite nice if you ask me. I know we have an inactive building. That will come later. And I'm going to put him right there just in case. Although, since we don't have anything... Since we don't have any malices to the growth of our people, it might behoove us to go ahead and snap up Harmony, first of all. I'll get to that in a second, because that increases our growth speed by plus 25%. It's amazing. But here we have the first league. That's not the best precursor event to get, but it'll do. We discovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization. If what we have learned from these artifacts is correct, it was some sort of confederation, like ours, that consisted of many different alien races. Like ours will. Wow. What do you know? Our mode of government, by conquering and subjugating all around us, is actually something that even the precursors did. They called themselves the First League and appear to have coexisted in relative peace. Oh, ew, how disgusting. Some 2 million years ago. Although it lies in a region of space that seems to have made up the core of their territory, a partial map found indicates that the First League may have covered a significant portion of our galaxy before its eventual collapse.
Updated.
Thank you. So up here we have starbase capacity, colonizable systems, and naval capacity. That's also something new. You can't just build a giant blob and throw it around, throw its weight around like a gigantic rolling ball of death. The Kithshaw Confederacy is abuzz with news of the alien remnants. These leavings are considered definitive proof of intelligent, purposeful alien activity. We may be alone now, but we are not the first to be so. Remarkable. So we can only have a certain number of fleets, and we can only have a certain number of ships within them. I believe they. Oh, okay. The maximum fleet size of any individual fleet depends on our empire's command limit.
Construction complete.
Not entirely sure where that is, although I would like to drop an admiral down on this guy. Combat disengagement chance minus 33% with unyielding, but it gives them more hull points and more weapons damage. That sounds exactly like the kind of thing a bunch of space Vikings would want, but we can't afford one just yet. As you might have seen, getting rulers now costs energy credits instead of influence, which is nice because influence is now used to give yourself new systems, which is good. I like that. I like that influence is now a bit more important and a bit more sectioned off. There's now more of a point to hoarding it and to using it. Energy credits are now also slightly more useful. Not that they weren't before. It's just I agree with a lot of the design decisions that they used going into this. It's really neat. Now, don't expect me to be an expert on Empire builds or anything like that. You're probably going to get angry at me a lot before this game is done. But with that done, I believe we can now drop another mining station down here. And I'll be able to... do I really want to build an outpost over there? Probably. I mean, that's plus 5 minerals and plus 3 physics. That's a pretty big bonus to begin with. Although, as you can see, the game is already a little bit slower. You have to... You build up a lot more. There's a lot more build-up phase. And everything is a bit more expensive, and everything is a bit more slowed down, which I appreciate. How long have I been going? 45 minutes? Yeah, I can go a little bit longer than that. Even though I've basically been talking non-stop through all of this. Although, let's go ahead and grab ourselves an admiral. The youngest has plus 1 sensor range and plus 20 sublight speed.
Construction complete.
Which is cool. The female, Sasamon Hadtond. Ooh, I like that name. I like the unyielding trait, especially for It's just thematically appropriate, you know. But right now, I believe it would be more useful to have somebody who has a strong... Ooh, see, yep, there it goes. There goes. Stronger sensor range gave us eyes on that world. I don't know why. But it is a habitable world, a tundra world. Size 15, respectable. We will go ahead and tell him to survey it so that we can go ahead and claim it with a construction ship. Okay, so not only that, you have to actually survey a system before you can claim it with a starbase. Fascinating.
System survey complete.
Thank you. You sound really angry about that. Is it just me, or are ships slower now? I feel like they are. I feel like they're just... Wait a minute, these aren't the crystal clusters, are they? No, I don't think they are. That would be bad if I ended up with crystal clusters like right next to our our home system, because I wouldn't be able to use them. I wouldn't be able to use it. Ah, our first tradition. Good. Now, I'm gonna pause. Expansion or harmony? We are going to be filling up space with ourselves, but expansion or supremacy makes more sense to have from the get-go. Starbase capacity increased by 2 and upgrade costs reduced by 20%, which is amazing. Adopting all supremacy traditions will unlock war doctrines. In addition, we will unlock 1 ascension perk slot. But what has expansion changed with? Capital buildings still produce additional unity. Courier network, which decreases how much unity you need for every level you get in traditions. A new life. Colonies start with 1 additional pop. It's still very, yeah. Still very useful. Good old expansion. Adopting it increases colony development speed by 100%. Adopting all expansion traditions increases core systems by 2, which means we can have more systems directly under our control without splitting them into systems, without splitting them into sectors, which everyone has always hated. You know, I do like harmony. I've always been a big fan of harmony. I love the bonuses that come with harmony. The pop growth speed, the happiness, the governing ethics attraction. I'm a huge fan of reducing governing ethic attraction, of reducing the impact that distance from capital has on governing ethics attraction. I like my empire nice and stable and unified. So just out of tradition, I will pick the harmony tradition, and then I will go for expansion and supremacy. Which, of course, will... See, look at that. We are now increasing at plus 1.25 per month, instead of just plus 1. How are the slaves doing? Unhappy? Good. We have found some aliens. In many ways, we have found news of alien ships humming through the ether, in many ways ending the first chapter of the book of the Kithshaw Confederacy's bid for a stellar empire. Are they actual... Uh-oh. 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 We may have found our first rivals. They're already here. That's bad. It hit me that we should build another science ship. That way we can begin exploring even faster. That would probably be... Do they inhabit the Najagas Veil? Are we gonna have to take it from them? I want it. I want that veil. Let's go ahead and survey the depths of it. And with that construction ship, let's go ahead and claim that before the... okay. Once we fully...
Tile blocker cleared.
Once we fully survey the system...
Construction complete.
I'm gonna make it mine. We're kind of in a race against this guy. Gamma aliens? Where? Uh-oh. These guys are hostile. Ooh, the space amoebas. The space amoebas are always my favorite. I love hunting and destroying these things because they give you the flagellum technology, which is basically a new kind of strike craft. Oh, there's our new science ship, so we're gonna need a new leader. But we only have 100 energy credits. That ain't good. So that means we have a science ship just sitting around doing nothing. Well, seriously? It's the amoebas that roam. Are they going straight for... Uh-oh. They might in fact, be going straight for our, Wait a minute. They can't possibly, can they?
They are assaulting our space.
They are indeed assaulting our spaceport. My goodness, I have never seen this before. There go our corvettes. They are not going to last very long. I have never seen that happen before. Amoebas just coming out of nowhere and attacking our... Can we get our construction ship out of there, please? Yes, you definitely need to get the heckity hock out of there. Oh dear. This might be, am I gonna lose this game because of amoebas? That would be fascinating. What are you building anyway? Aren't you supposed to just run for it? Fleet has nowhere to flee to. Oh yeah, because this is our only system. Great. We'll go ahead and start building... Go ahead and start building a an outpost over there. That'll give you something to do. This is fascinating. I would be very surprised if suddenly amoebas are about to kill our starbase. Oh my goodness!
The cowards have destroyed our construction ship.
A fleet of giant amoebas have and we are next to some evangelizing flippin' zealots. Excellent. We will fight for our right to exist, Emuthran. Chief Presenter Turk, daughter of Jerk. Turk, daughter of Jerk, and the rest of the religious council demands your attention, heathen creatures. We provide spiritual guidance to the Republican and Emuthran colonies, and our intention is to lead this great nation on a path to salvation. Do not defile this path with your presence, alien. You shut up. We're having a bad day right now. Oh boy, yes. They are definitely a threat. Wow. Wow, okay. They are aggressively just going for it. Now, fortunately, you can't actually destroy a starbase. You can only bring it down to its, you can only make it inactive, which a bunch of amoeba just did. We only took it down to about half health. A habitable world survey. Now's not really the time, you know? Although, at least now we can, check out that, wow. At least now we can check out that their space debris. Because, you know, that happened. You guys lost to a giant amoeba. What kind of space warrior Vikings even are you? I am ashamed. You lost to a bunch of blithering creatures in the sight of the hunter's eye. The great hunter in the sky is ashamed of all of you. You deserve everything you got. And with that, I think we're gonna have to call this video. I've never seen that happen before. Please, Paradox, nerf those giant amoebas. They are quite terrifying. They can come out of nowhere and raffle stomp your fleet before you even build stuff. Oh boy, now we're in for it. At least we have a new, yeah, let's go ahead and adopt expansion since we got those dudes right over flipping there. Claim that starbase. Survey that system. Wow, they are wasting no time. We have got to move. But I'm gonna pause it for now, because as I said, I'm already going to end this video. And if you guys liked it, don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to share it with your friends, because I am and will remain your captain, and I will see you all on the next leg of our journey. Bye-bye.